Talk a little bit about external validation. If you are working, and I didn't realize that this was what was happening to me for like 15 years, 10, 15 years. I just didn't realize it. I couldn't, I didn't have the intellect, I guess, to, that's what Alan Watts talked about. He said, you need to use your intellect to get through it, to realize, to realize what's happening. And I just never realized it. And for like, who knows, as soon as I started working in corporate, I got that feeling like for some reason I kept on passing the buck. Like somebody else would take an issue that I was working on if I couldn't, and I was like, well, why couldn't I finish that? Or like there were other people that would surpass me, like, start at a lower spot, it's weird in a small company, especially because there's no defined roles sometimes, and then, and somebody that would start, people would move on to bigger and better positions, and I would stay in the same spot. And I started to think like, well, why is that happening to me? Why is that happening? What can I do? What can I do? And that constantly, that was in my head for all the time. I can't tell you how many times I thought about it. And yes, I still went job to job. I still stayed. I still was successful. I was successful, but I never felt fully, even up until the time, when I was no longer working, I still never felt fulfilled in what I was doing. But there had been a time, maybe like a year or 2 years before I left, before I was no longer in that position or in that career, that I started to then realize what was happening. And I got a lot, my care, sometimes people say, oh, it's just work, just get it done. But I started to realize that, whatever I do for a job, whatever I do for work, it needs to benefit me first. Me, 100%. I don't care. I don't care for anything that doesn't do that anymore, because it's for me. It's all for you. It's all for you. You're working for these companies so that you can have, a life, But again, the spiritualist view that I've now taken is that, you're already good enough. If you're not good enough at this job, you're already good enough. You're conscious, you're alive, you're in the universe. You're conscious.